skin! I'm back. Well, I've been here, I just haven't done a video, and I got all these people saying, you haven't done a video for 2 weeks, it's been 2 weeks, we need a video. I'm like, okay, sorry, I'm really sorry. I'm gonna make it up to you, really, I will. Okay, we have to turn this a little bit because it's not balanced right. There's a curtain. No curtain. There's a curtain. No curtain. There's a window with a curtain. Anyway, yes, I moved. I relocated. Everything's all good though. No, it's all good really. I moved, and yes, I keep telling people about my to talk about the earth tones. That's what I surround myself with. Although my color, like when I'm out performing, is black, white, silver, or chrome. Whatever I can flip there. But I surround myself with earth tones, and I would show you around, but I'm not doing that today. So, but I definitely do have. You see these trees here? There's 2, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there's 8 in this room alone, and I have other stuff. And well, here I can show you. Well, no, wait. We're just gonna keep with this. Keep it simple. I moved. Now, before I get into anything else, I want to say that I gotta get 2 shout-outs, 2 very important shout-outs to people that they follow, they keep up with my channel, they really like to watch me and whatnot. So I gotta, my way of paying it back. So this one goes out to Justin. Here's your shout-out! And Scott. Shout out! There you guys go. I do appreciate you guys following me and giving me your little feedback and your tips and everything, and especially to I've known Justin longer. He's a good guy. Like I get a kick out of him whenever he talks to me or messages me or something, and he always throws his little like you always start off, Justin, with when you say like hey Ken. It's never a Ken. It's a K-N. And then he sends it to me, and it shows my name in like 40 letters. It's like, so he's the only guy I know that can take a 3-letter name and make it into like 80. Gets my attention. That's the whole point. Anyway, and Scott, you seem to really enjoy stuff. I don't know what all you're doing with your life. I don't keep too much contact because I honestly, I don't know. I probably should. So I'm sorry. Forgive me. But you just think I have a crazy life, and really, my life isn't that crazy. It's just weird, the irony of some of the things I deal with. So, with that said, I moved. Now, getting moved was interesting in of itself because I had to get a budget truck, and when I went to call budget, they promised me a 17-footer. I went the next day. They had a quote for me. Turns out they didn't have a 17, didn't have a 20, didn't have a 24-footer. They gave me the 26-footer. Plenty of room. But it might as well be a semi. This thing was enormous. And I had to get it up an alley. That really was, and I will tell you, the alley I took it up was not built for this truck. Like, when I went up, there's a place where there's telephone poles. They were so close. I mean, they were close. And I'm going to move you over here because I can. But they were so close. Like, I guarantee you, there was places in my mirrors I could see, I mean, the trailer itself, because, the mirrors have to stick out slightly farther than the trailer does. There were places that I was like this, going past telephone poles. I'm glad the spikes weren't sticking out that you step on because I would never have gotten through. And I can confirm it that the alley I went up, you can't get anything else bigger up there. I tested that width of that alley. I'm surprised ups can get up the alley. No, I got that thing up there. So, yeah, went and did that. And my mom's following me around doing all this because we had the car packed up, and my car packed, well, her SUV packed up, and my car packed up, and we're trying to get around, and Matt's following us. I'm trying to go around everything. And I had fun driving. It was an F750 diesel. Big thing. I liked it. I could get it, But after we got up there the second time to unload, it was snowing more than it was previously because I moved during the second polar vortex we had. That was the coldest move of my life. I've never moved in the cold like that. That was cold. And we're in the mountains of Pennsylvania here, and it's not exactly Florida. So, I mean, I'm sure compared to Minnesota, this was the tropics, but it was like, brr, trying to unload. My fingers kept getting all cold and everything. But during the move, a little tidbit here, during the move, we had to get a washing machine down a set of steps. Those cellar steps, like the outside ones that you have to get stuff down, Well, we had a problem because I couldn't, like, I had to think, I had to really figure out how to get this thing down because you couldn't take it down one way and I couldn't get the ratchet strap tight enough, and I had to find a pipe for more torque to get the thing clicked, and then we had to take it down the one way, but it was so heavy, and since I've lost 75 pounds, I'm not top heavy anymore. So, like, I'm using my center of gravity on that angle was in my hips, and I don't got many hips. And I'm like trying like, oh yeah, it was fun. Once it was in the basement, getting it back out is gonna be a pain in the you know what, because it might just stay there for all I care. I might not pull it back out. It was given to me, so it was my mom's old washing machine in it. Anyway, so that's that. But yeah, I had to drive FedEx up around where I live at now, and it's like 11 o'clock at night. And mind you, trying to get, I'm not sitting right, to get this thing up the alley again, and I'm realizing it's snowing, it's cold, it's dark, and I got insurance on it, but I didn't want to test the insurance, like, you know what I mean? It's like, think, Ken, use your brain. I got out, went back, I'm like, Matt, to my mother, and I said, I'm not taking up that alley again. It's too dark. I mean, I would need my mother to flash her, like, come at me in the alley and do this trick so I could see back because I couldn't see. But yes, I'm in my pajamas. Aren't they cool? They're Eddie Bauer. Look at that ankle. Ooh, sexy. But anyway, so, what happened is we just backed it up and I had to just park along the road and we unloaded, which we were fine. It was like, no big deal. And my mother looked at me and goes, for having one eyeball on your head, she goes, you would think you've been driving that thing for years. I'm like, but the way my mom raised me was she always pushed me to do stuff. Like, not like a Mummy Dearest kind of thing. There were no wire hangers involved. But she would do this thing where she'd push me out there to go do it. And there's some stuff that I face planted on. Like, I just didn't want to do it. I fought and carried on like every other 15-year-old out there would have. But I learned a lot through it, and that's one thing about her that people may go, "Wow, I can't believe you did that." I'm like, you can thank my mother, thank the woman who gave birth to me. I sprang from her loins 33 years ago. That she definitely made me do things that I didn't want to do, like I didn't. But I look back at it now, and I remember one specific little detail that, Mom, if you're watching, she said, if you're gonna get your driver's license, you gotta learn how to do this stuff with the car, oil changes and tire rotation and learn how to do all that stuff. And of course, being a 15, I didn't want to do this when to drive the darn thing. And she looked at me one day, we had an argument, several hundred have happened, but this is one of the big ones, and we were just arguing back and forth, me being just an argumentative German as I am, just being cantankerous. And she looks at me and goes, do you know, and she's yelling this at me, she goes, do you know why I want you to learn how to do this stuff? And I went, why? And she goes, so when you're out on your own, you're not going to be one of these dumb kids who doesn't know how to do anything except play on video games. She goes, you're not, and she very much was very orchestrative in how she handled that. I mean, she basically forced me to go do stuff that it didn't kill me, but now I look back at it, and she was right. I know how to do a lot of things that I can take care of, that I can go do, and I really never need help with any of it. Like, I mean, if I need help on something, it's major. But I take care of everything. She kind of bred me this way. But But anyway, so, Mom, thank you very much. I do appreciate it, really. At the time, I was like, yeah! And then we were bearing our claws at each other. But then I look back at it and realize she was right. Very right. But you deal with that with life, which has quotes. I want to get to my quotes. That was my little thing here. I had to sum it up, but I want to get back to this whole U-Haul or FedEx budget truck that we unloaded it and whatnot, put everything in here, yak. Well, we went and got moved. We're settled for the most part. We're all good now. I'm gonna move myself back again. I can't change camera angles, so I have to keep moving. So it's like. Anyway, moving on. So, I don't know why I like doing that. I'm weird. But what else now? I can move on to other things. Oh, my mother with the truck. This kind of ties in. I'm gonna make this mesh one way or another, so we'll be locked for life. With the eyeball thing. I was asked this probably about a month before I moved. And someone's like, you talk about your eye, but you never talk about your eye. I'm like, well, there's not a whole lot to say. And it's you know, Christmas was interesting with this whole gamut with this YouTube channel because people, they see me and like, how you doing? I'm like, have you watched my channel lately? That's what's going on. They're like, yeah, I guess so, huh? I'm like, yeah, like everything is on my YouTube. I don't have anything to talk to people, so I gotta save things for regular conversation. But with my eye, that's something that people, they have questions, you know, and people are curious. They want to know stuff about it. So I'm like, we'll talk, you know, I'll have no problem answering questions. But one of the first big ones, one of the first things is, and I'm being very, this is one serious moment you'll get with me here. It taught me a lot. Having an eye, I hated it at the beginning. When I was born, I had a congenital cataract on it. I could see light and dark and somebody walked past me. I couldn't make out anything else. I ended up, oh, something's on the move. It's got 2 legs, 2 arms. It's touching its chin. Oh, it's walking into the, oh, it's using the plumbing. Anyway, getting back to this. So, long story short, I had this cataract. It was congenital. I was born with it. It looked like a cat's eye. And when I was 5 years old, I developed glaucoma in it. Well, they were trying to figure out how I got it. Well, it was a thing of where my mother had allergy shots when she was pregnant with me, and one of the side effects was birth vision, and they didn't know vision defects would be involved, but that's how that happened. Well, she went to the doctor, he had me looked at for hours and all. One thing about me is I can get a doctor right in my face and it doesn't bother me. Like because they were on my face for when I was a little kid. And you know that little thing you put your face in to get your vision checked? Well, when I was a kid I used to fight with them. And my mom would lean back behind and push my head into the thing like, Kenny, it'll be over in just a minute. I'm going, he's testing the pressure with the glaucoma. I'm going, nah! I'm screaming, you know. And she's trying to hold my head in there. I got to do it back to her. We actually had eye appointments set up at the same time years ago, and it was her turn. She's sitting there like squinting. I got behind. I put her hands behind. Like I'm like, Mom, this is what you did to me. You'll be over in a minute. So, but at any rate, when I was 5, I got glaucoma. 13, the pressure released. It hurt a lot. Like it was painful. From 13 until I was 19, it would just, well, because your eyes work together, well, when you know it, it actually would hemorrhage on the inside. So, of course, after 6 years of, imagine your worst headache and toothache in the same place. Right in the same, like right on top of one another. It hurt. Like, this is how bad it hurt. I do not wish that pain on my worst enemy. It hurt. For 6 years, I did. Every time it would hemorrhage, I had to walk around the house with sunglasses. The shades were pulled because as long as my good eye didn't change to let the light in and out, like how it would do that thing, I was okay. But the minute I would look at a light or something or walk into a bright room, oh, God, pain. I don't want anyone to go through that. It hurts. So for 6 years, I lived on ointments. Did that, and then 19, I finally told the doctor, I said, take it out. He didn't want to. I'm like, no, I don't want any more. It hurt. It's too much. I'm missing out on too many things. I went over to his colleague, if you will, and he sent me around to Pittsburgh and had taken out. The doctor took it out. Again, this is a quick story here. The doctor took it out, and he came and saw me in recovery and says, you know, I operate every day on this kind of surgery. Like, this is what I do every day, every morning, for 5 days a week, for years. I do this every day. I'm like, okay. He says, I have operated with people who have cancer in their eye. I'm like, mind you, I'm half out of it still. I'm like, yeah. I got this big gauze on my face. I'm like, yeah. He says, as you cut into the eye, you actually can see scar tissue where the body is healed. He goes, in all my years, I've never seen that much scar tissue. He goes, you were in a lot of pain. I don't know how you did it for 6 years. I'm going, it hurt. I mean, it was sad face. It was just, and the thing is, I couldn't take anything for it because it was hemorrhaging. So it wasn't like a headache that goes away. You have to I hated it, and it would hemorrhage and hemorrhage. And you know, like a ship, the round windows on a ship. Well, you know, like the water goes up and down on, you know, if you're in rough seas or whatnot. Well, if I bent over and stood back up, you could see the blood running off the front of my eyeball. Okay? So it was rough. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want people to think that it was just a simple procedure. The initial pain after the surgery was nothing compared to the 6 years of what I dealt with. So, and I missed out on all that. I couldn't play contact sports. Not that I wanted to. I couldn't do a lot of things that I was left out of. Just I couldn't do them. So, but that was that part of it. But they gave me this bio eye, which is what the surgery did. They took out the eye, put a bio eye in. It's a cultured piece of coral reef. You can look up all the stuff on Google if you want. They attach the muscles to it, and it's porous, being cultured coral reef, and the nerves can grow into it, so the body kind of accepts it, which the body accepted just fine. Well, now 6 weeks later, they poured me a mold. They said, it's going to be cool to the touch. I'm like, okay, they pour this stuff in my eye socket. I thought I was getting frostbite. It was like freezing. It was aching back into my skull. Like, I'm sitting there like, it'll only be a minute. That was the longest minute up to that point in my life. I'm sitting there like, I went from pain for 6 years, off and on, like twice a week kind of thing, with hemorrhage. And then, ice cube. It was like it was creeping, the pain was creeping down into my molars. I'm thinking, and I had to hold still. And I'm like, I'm gripping onto the seat because oh God, that was cold. I'm even getting cold thinking about it. So they took it out and they did all the stuff to it. Now, I will be popping my eye out here for a second, so bear with me. But they poured the eye, made it, and he sat there and did all the little veins and things on it. So I have it. I've had it for 13, almost 14 years now. I have to have it buffed because it's like a contact lens, and your eye uses a lot of protein and the calcium deposit, I guess you want to call it. Your body, actually, your eyes use a lot of protein and a lot of calcium. I found this out, and like when you use contact lens, it has to get the protein buildup off of it. Or I'm wrong about that. It's not the calcium. It uses protein that builds up. Well, it gets a film on, so I have to like take nail polish remover, contact lens solution, and sit there and very gently work on it. Every now and then, not all the time, but every now and then I gotta sit there, do that. But as far as pain now, I don't have any pain in it, but I do get phantom pains. And the thing about phantom pains is you get them initially, they're not as bad, and you can take care of it. It's manageable. Then after a while, you don't get them. And then when you finally do get one, it packs. Like I'll be walking around, whatever, and all of a sudden, it hits. And it hurts. It will stop me in my tracks. And the trick to it is I have to touch the eye and I gotta move it with my finger so my brain gets a signal. It's not there anymore because a phantom pain is your brain doesn't know it's not there. It's like somebody who has an amputee. They tell them, touch, when it starts aching, touch the ball, touch all around. Let your brain know it's not there. Same with my eye. I get phantom pains in it, and there for a while I didn't know how to take care of it. I just kind of dealt with it and waded through it for the time being, and it would hurt, and it would hurt, and it would hurt, and they say, oh, here, take something for it. I'm like, I can't take anything for it because it's not really a pain. There's nothing there that hurts. My brain is thinking and the doctor's like, just touch the eye, move it a little bit. It'll go away in an instant. I'm like, huh? So we were out somewhere, and it's like someone drives an ice pick in your head. It's just there. And it's like, oh, like if you ever see me out of the blue, you'll see me go, oh, like you'll think I watched a car accident or something. Like, oh, that hurt. But I'll pull back, and you'll see me immediately just sit there and wiggle it like this. Just kind of sit there and do this, and instantly, it's like the pain just stopped totally. So I gotta do that. But I'll pop it out here and show you guys it, and I'm gonna move on to, I guess, the rest of what I'm gonna do here. This is gonna be a long video. I apologize, but yeah. So here we go. You ready? See? There it is. Ain't that spiffy? It's got a little dent. It's conformed. That's when they poured the mold. Can you see that at all? There's like a little dent with a little, like a knob. Not a knob, but like, that's what the inside of it looks like. Ain't that spiffy? It pops out. It actually could use a little cleaning right now, but I'll pop it back in. But, oops, sorry. So that's it. And it cost like $3,000. So now, here's the gory part. Disclaimer, if you don't want to see it, move it up a little bit. Ready? There. See? I can pop it out. See? Ain't that weird? Some people get real freaked out. Some people, oh my God! It doesn't hurt. That's what it looks like. See? Now, air gets in there, and I will tell you, when we're out in the winter, like vortex moving around, this thing will turn to an ice cube. It gets very cold, and I'll be right back to put it back in. So, hang on. Okay, now that I washed it off, because I fingered it, I'm going to put it back in for you. Okay? The fat side, because it's kind of shaped like a V, it tapers, because that's sit like this. And the clock's gone off. Basically do this. I gotta look at myself to do it. Oh, this is weird. It's like I'm watching myself do it. And you pivot it. Pops back in. And you sit there and you gotta burp it because air gets behind it. So I sit there and do this. Now hang on. And then you gotta squint and you push it. And guess what? Back in business. But yeah, I pop it out and people go, oh my god! And you get the weirdest questions. I've gotten teenage boys, literally boys, will do it. When we work different places, they ask me questions about it and I pop it out. And some of them go, I tell them, look, it sounds disgusting, but when I do it, they're like, that's it? I'm like, yeah, that's it. But people have questions, they want to know things. So, but as far as, oh, see, sorry mom, touching my nose. Allergies. So, but yeah, I pop it out regularly, check it, you gotta do that. People are like, someone thought I pop it out at night. And I'm like, I don't have a reason to pop it out at night. In fact, I'll tell you when I have popped it out, is I don't know whether, like I was talking about the vortex and how cold it gets, it turns into an ice cube, and I will literally will drive around and be outside shoveling snow or whatever I might be doing, and I will literally have to, like, blow cold warmer. If that don't work, I have been known to have my sunglasses on. I didn't bring them down with me, did I? I have these they're right here. I have these wraparound glasses that I actually keep on. But yeah, I do have to wear them, and they wrap around and keeps the wind off of them for aerodynamic because my eye dries out. But if I can't put these on and my eye gets too cold, I have popped it out and stuck it in my mouth. You gotta do what you gotta do. People are like, ah, that's disgusting. Well, it's my mouth. I wash the eye off. You sanitize it and everything. It's not like I can put it back in my head like that. I mean, I can be good about it. I know I've been doing it for years. What else about the eye? It's quite the conversation piece. People always have some interesting questions. In fact, one of the worst, I think the first thing, of course, being me, the first thing that happened, it was the worst thing that happened, was I had a driver where I used to work at. He came in, and I worked the overnight. He came in and he says to me about me taking my eye out. I'm like, yeah, and he knows I'm gay. And he goes, oh, that means someone can skull you. Grab a hold of your ears and just go. And I'm like, really? And I was ticked off about it. I thought it was, I didn't know the guy all that well, and I thought, he didn't say that, but you get that. I've had people say some really, and it's been a teaching tool. And, pain, the one thing about pain, and I just mean self-pain, like from this hurting and whatnot, but like pain from the outside world and people being people, pain is a hell of a teacher and a hell of a motivator. It will teach you things. This eye has been a teaching tool. It's taught me things. I've gotten to see the true colors of some people, and my boss will tell you that, my mom will even back this one up, that I might have one eye, but I see things that with people that have two eyes don't see. It's like when you lose your sense of sight, your fingers become your eyes. They're very sensitive. I could never read Braille, but they can. They're very sensitive to touch, and it's like my brain has to compensate for it. My mother, she went to the doctor and said, oh, people were telling her all these things, put them in classes, and I had to be specially educated and all this stuff. And the doctor's like, nope, you treat him like he's got two eyes in his head. He's no different. He will figure it out. In fact, he'll do things that you will look back and go, he did that with one eyeball? Like this truck. I don't know. It's not that I have confidence in myself. I think I had to build up something like that. But yeah, I definitely have had to figure out a few things. And I'm left-handed, so things are different that way too for me. So I'm left-handed, one eyeball. I mean, it's one of those things where it's the norm to me to see everything with once. And I was told by a doctor I have no depth perception. I'm like, really? According to him, I have no depth perception. But I proved it. I was doing this trick for him, and you put your arms out and touch top of a marker, and I was doing this, just touching it, just kind of like this. And I wasn't knocking it over. I was touching the top with my index fingers. He's like, you can't be doing it. I'm like, it's like NASA with the bumblebee. Technically, according to NASA, bumblebees can't fly. By aerodynamics of NASA's aerodynamics, bumblebees should not be allowed to leave the ground. According to them, I shouldn't see in 3D. I'm like, why wouldn't I see in 3D? It's the world around me. The one thing I can't do is see the magic eye, and I'm not the only person who can't see magic eyes. You know the things you put up to your face and pull away to see the image? I can't see them. And I'm really not that upset about it. But, yeah, they were told my mother years ago that I would need special classes and treated differently, and the doctor told her, don't you treat him any differently, you treat him like he's like every other kid out there. He will figure it out, and he will do things that you never thought. Wow, you look back at it, and she told me, she goes, yeah, she goes, Kenny, you've done things, I look back and go, with one eye. And I tell people, well, try driving around your neighborhood that you've known for years with one eyeball. You will see yourself jerking your head around, but I have really good kinesthetics, I was told. In fact, my visual throw is big. Like, the distance I can bring, how fast your zoom, I guess you want to call it, works, for lack of a better word, how close you can see, and then how fast I can project to see long distances. Mine technically goes faster. I'm like, well, yeah, so it's compensating. But my entire life, my vision has been compensating. So I know this is the norm to me. I don't know any different. But yeah, people like that. They ask questions, and I try my best to answer them and whatnot. So it's not like I'm scared of it. I used to hate the eye. I used to hate having one eye. I admit that. In fact, it was harder for me to accept the fact I had one eye versus being gay. If that tells you anything. But it's been an interesting ride with it, and people get to know me, and they forget I have my mother, who gave birth to me, who went with my surgery, who's done all these doctor appointments when I was a little kid. She still forgets which eye it is. Oh my God, I'm like I have 8 legs or something where one of them's a little different. No, I have 2 eyes. It's a 50-50 chance here. And she still will be like, Kenneth. I look over, she'll go, I'm like, she's handing me something I can't see outside of my head. So, but yeah, that's basically what does it have one eyeball? And there's plenty of other little things that have gone on, but it gets cold, you gotta warm it back up. People make fun of it. I was treated poorly by a few people, but that's just part of life. And you know, life's tough, but I'm a little bit tougher. You know, I don't know. I don't think any different. In fact, I think this eye has been it's been a blessing, believe it or not. I've seen things, how people treat you. Some people are just downright shallow. They are so cold, and they just think it's such a horrible thing. I'm going, I bet I've done things you never thought I could do. So, it's been fun. So, I have another video coming up. It's of my mother, stuff about her, because I don't think she wants to be on this channel, but I'm going to talk about her. So it's going to be like an early Mother's Day present. In fact, it's going to be an early birthday present for her, because her birthday is this month, which is in February, so I'm going to do a little video for her. So in the meantime, that's about my eye, and I'm moved. So, and I'm surrounded by my earth tones, which these are also earthy. They cool. They're like blue and, well, like black and green, sort of. Anyway. Alright, peeps. I'll see you in the next video. Meantime, I do apologize for neglecting you guys for 2 weeks, but I had to get moved. So, I'll see you guys, hopefully, in the next video, which will be like, right before this. It'll be the same exact thing, but a different topic. So, alright, guys. Be good. Keep watching. Peace out to you. Toodles.